Hello and welcome to this amazing episode of Art History Plus podcast, powered by La Nanta Absinthe, Liquid of the Legends. We have with us an amazing painter, printmaker, and a dear friend of mine, Snehal Goyal. Snehal, I have a few questions.
Hi, Vaibhav.
Sorry, you're completely informal.
Yeah.
Completely. Okay, in this interview, what should the humor setting be from 1 to 10?
Anything, dude, 8.
8. Truth setting is 1 to 10. How honest will you be?
100.
Out of 10.
Yeah. 10.
10. And how honest are you going to be in terms of your personal life if I ask you a few questions from 1 to 10?
10.
10? Okay. Are you sure?
Yeah. What's there to hide?
Oh, lovely. So Snehal I have seen Snehal's journey for the last 15 years now. She's become an amazing producer of sorts because she runs Vistaar Art Studio. And I'm really proud of you, because you were doing, I met you when you were doing your bachelor's in fine art, and then we were classmates in MSU Vadodra. It's really nice to have you, on the show. And with regards to this exhibition that I'm curating, Follow the White Rabbit, at the Frida Art House at the Ritz-Carlton, you've given some amazing works. You've given a set of 20 artworks which ask people to come and peep into the works. So can you just explain this one body of work, and then let's go into the details of your larger practice?
So, particularly this work, I have been wanting to explore this idea of what it looks like to look or see windows that are away from us, like these buildings that are really distant.
Yeah.
But window is kind of an opening to somebody's house when you look at it from a distance.
Yeah.
And then you get a peep of their life from that window.
Yeah.
And that was the essence of that small, intimate, peekaboo moment of their lives, which I tried to capture through the windows.
You do that in real life also?
No, but we kind of, when we are crossing the road or you're in the car or when you're walking across the streets.
This voyeuristic side of just peeping into other people's houses.
No, you get to see it otherwise also. You're not intentional about it, but that talks about what kind of a family or what is going on in the house. It can be multiple situations.
Yeah.
Even like you're seeing through shops on the roadside.
Yeah.
The main highlight is that window display, right? Like you're trying to show what you are through the window. So
sure.
It's
and
that feeling.
What made you come close to printmaking? Like you used to paint earlier, and now, and also I'm going to come with your father ran a very powerful foundation in Pune, an art foundation.
Yes.
So there are a few subjects that I want to discuss. Firstly, now also, okay, let's just start ahead with the freshest topic, which is you becoming a mother.
Yes.
And also practicing art.
Yes.
Something I will never understand. But I feel there's a lot of responsibility. You've just dropped your kids to school and come for this podcast. So can you just I'm scared in a way to kind of like also have a professional practice and also be a mother for my wife.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if you had to speak to a larger audience, a younger audience that is going to have a child and that is also has a very serious private painting practice as an artist.
Yeah.
How do you juggle both of these, and what advice would you give?
I've been thinking about this for quite some time. Like, it's not that every day you create art, right? Like, I go to the studio every day, but not necessarily you make some finer work every day.
Yeah.
So some of it is your back end work, some of it is sketching, even reading, or like searching on the internet, like browsing through. But I feel like I've been just thinking about it widely. I feel like creativity is a lifestyle.
Is a lifestyle.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I've been researching on this idea for a while because I think it instills, especially because that my father had an art foundation and I had a overview of art as a career practice or art as a world from my childhood.
Yeah.
I had great exposure from that point of view. So I tried to do it for my children, like instilling learning about anything, like about a subject, about math, about values through creative processes.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's not been a juggle. It's just life. Like I find joy even in cooking. I find joy even in doing something at home. I find joy in being with kids and like singing songs with them and like So it's not different from being like, there's no partition of being an artist, being a mother, being a housewife, being a daughter-in-law, daughter. Like, I think it's just one as a person.
Can you be as creative with your mother-in-law as you are with your daughter?
Yeah. So like she loves when you make food like differently. Like
Yeah. Sorry.
you're creating, like you make the same food, but you just serve it in a different style. I
Yeah.
think there's joy in like even doing that. So I think there was no segregation between being a mother
You're a creative person.
yeah.
And that's the blanket definition of you. And you like I had gone to Rajasthan once, and their houses are done up like artists come into their life.
Yeah.
You have that kind of. I've come to your beautiful house, and it's done up like really well. There's going to be no footage of that video.
Thanks.
But it's really done like a gallery in a way. And when your father started the art gallery, your father's a pakka businessman, pakka, like full on. And I just found out through Milind Mulik that he was also a pianist and a musician.
Yes.
Something I had no clue about. But your father did have that streak in him of creativity. I've also met your daughter. She paints in her way.
Yeah. In her way.
In her way, yeah. And I wanted to ask you your relationship with your father. His relationship with money is very obvious. What's your relationship with money? And I want to ask, what did you get from, my question to you is, what are the values your father instilled in you through running a business, but also running an art foundation? And so you got a mix of both.
Yes.
And you chose art and you became an artist. And also, are you an artist? I'll just finish this. Are you an artist or are you in the business of art?
That's a tough one. Like too many questions in one question.
It's not planned, this
so
podcast. I'm just asking you.
Relationship with my father has been very easy to tell you. He is like my best friend.
Yeah.
I can, like, he understands why I create what I create, because he himself wanted to be at one point, an artist. And that's how he created the foundation to support art.
Yeah.
Being in a business family, he had to look back at the business. But his creativity has always been even in his business, because he was a lot into the R&D part of the business more than the business front. And also marketing is one of his core. So I think genetically get that part also.
You genetically imbibed marketing.
Genetically. Or like business point of view for
An
any
acumen, you become Shana.
This business part I realized much later.
Are you a businesswoman?
But I don't create art I don't create art for business.
No,
I
don't
create
mean
it
that.
for the sheer joy.
Sure.
But I feel like there should be growth, not just.
You said it's a lifestyle, so I'll ask you, do you monetize your lifestyle?
Fortunately, I have been.
Yeah.
Yes.
How?
I believe in creating a brand. I believe in what I talk or what I do. So I believe in, if I can add value to you, yes, then the value should have a gain back again.
Yes.
Monetary, in either ways, like just.
Yeah.
So I think.
Basically money. No.
Not just money, but I think when you create a brand, there's much more than, there's also responsibility with the brand.
Sure. You have people who know you as a painter. You have people who know you as someone's daughter. There's a huge community. You have people who know you as the founder of Raised in Art. And so do you mix all of this under Snehal Goyal, or are you okay with having a few people knowing you as the founder of Raised in Art and not knowing your painterly hypersensitive side?
No, I think it's all connected. I think Raised in Art has its value only because Snehal Goyal is an artist.
Sure. Can you explain to people what is Raised in Art? Go for it, like full ad. Go for it.
During the COVID, I did a couple of courses on homeschooling and understanding education at home, and how do you entertain a toddler basically, because you're home all the time. And we found like a lot of joy in doing these creative practices at home, because I could not go to the studio, so I used to spend a lot of time with my daughter.
Yeah.
That's when that time I had only one child, and I realized that she shares the same joy of painting and coloring and like exploring like different medias, and then I thought, like, why not teach her certain things in this creative manner. And that's how a lot of ideas started coming. We did a lot of practice during the COVID on making her understand, helping this learning practice to be more creative. And that's how Raised in Art as an idea began. I started it with writing couple of blogs about practices that I did with her, about examples of
Yeah.
how we learned, for example, 1 to 10.
Yeah.
And we learned about the garden and
Yeah.
about the bugs, for
Yeah.
example. And then it eventually became a good platform like Instagram and all, became faster to reach many other moms who were also doing a lot of practices at their homes.
You always wanted to. This happened only after your child.
Yes.
Raised in Art. I mean, you're using your whole mind, your whole brain, all your skill sets, from marketing to your creativity to your printmaking to your you also make these small objects and you make gift boxes.
No, we don't make gift boxes.
No,
They
you
are-
make you make ready set things to in Raised. What is the syllabus of Raised in Art? It's not like a syllabus.
So Raised in Art in the COVID I started it as a brand to create these sensory kits, because I believe like between the age from 0 to 6, sensory development is so important for all, for a holistic brain development.
Yeah.
And I started curated these sensory kits on different themes, which we started selling online.
Explain sensory kits.
So these are open-ended play kits that involve all the senses of the child.
So you can.
But it's not a puzzle. There is no right answer. It's just to explore.
Sure.
So-
Sounds amazing.
And then once the world got back into its physical form, I thought, why not start these in the studio explorations for the kids in Pune? Yes, I'm in Pune, so it happens in Pune, where I spend my Saturdays with the kids,
With different kids.
learning from them. They learn from me. I think it's a whole process of
Yeah.
exploring different materials, different ways of looking at things, of observing.
Why is that important for you?
Because I get to learn so many ways in which I didn't see the world like that.
Why is it important for the children also?
It's also important for children because I feel like children from the beginning need to be taught to think openly, need to be taught to observe in the right way.
As
And
opposed to? What is your
I
complaint?
supposed to, like, I don't like telling them color within the lines. I don't like telling them that apple is red, so your apple should be red.
Yeah.
I feel like, and I also feel like art is not like just drawing and coloring.
What is it?
It's beyond that. Like, it's exploring clay, it's exploring today photography, it's exploring so many other ways. Like,
Yeah.
apart from just learning how to draw skillfully.
Yeah.
And I don't want to teach skill. I want to teach how to think creatively.
That's amazing. And you think the school system doesn't allow?
I
You
think they're
obvious-
restricted because of the syllabus in many ways.
Yeah.
But because of these now liberal schools, which have, you need to research on a particular project. I believe like some learners are not very like read and learn. Some learners have a very creative way of expressing what they have learned.
Yeah.
And I think art has its major role to do even in everyday education.
Sure. So like your daughter goes to an IB school.
Yes.
So do you have an project that you are suddenly shocked looking at, that when you
Yeah.
were in school you were like, what is this?
Even her teachers,
Like,
they love it how she explains, and she draws so easily. Like whatever she learns, she has a page in her writing book where she's drawn and shown what she has learned about any of the things that they are doing their research on.
yeah.
And she truly enjoys it.
What is a 5-year-old researching?
They have units where they research on, like, for example, about habitats. Now they're learning about their body. So she's learning how to draw the heart and how to draw the lungs. But her heart is
Is
very
a
creative.
what does your daughter's heart look like? It's not a heart.
No, she tries to see the original, but she has her own observation and way.
That's amazing, yeah. It's amazing.
I think not many parents also know how to see how amazing it is. Like you.
At 5, I couldn't even say heart.
Yeah.
She can draw a heart her way.
Yeah.
I find it really amazing. Kids today. My nephew is also magic. It's just it's shock and awe for me. And so let's get back to your art practice. Now you are an artist mother. You do a particular kind of practice.
Yes.
You have a daughter. You're close to both these subjects now. Your own personal practice, your daughter. If your daughter draws,
And my son also.
and your son, yeah,
He's 20 months, but he enjoys
he enjoy
coloring.
coloring.
Like explore.
And so, how do you refrain from? How do I say this? How do you refrain from holding yourself back and saying no, that's the wrong way to do it, or that's the right way to do it, or to school the child? How do you
I
refrain
think my
from?
daughter has taught me how to unschool myself.
Yeah, let's talk
Because
about unschooling, man. That's a subject that I'm really tripping on to talk to you about.
unschooling about
Sorry.
unschooling about like how you asked me the right question, like how do you refrain from saying that maybe you could do this. But I think now 2 years down the line of having variety of children at the studio,
Yeah.
it's just become a habit of there's nothing wrong and nothing right. So we do a lot of observational drawing and thinking in the studio also. So I think kids are capable enough to just see and try to do it by themselves. They don't need somebody to tell them actually.
Who's making the syllabus for you?
I curate it by myself with my experiences with the kids,
Amazing, eh?
how they're progressing, and then we decide what module to do next.
And your father's art foundation setup helps you in any way to kind of like organize this? Because I can't imagine you having 20 people in your studio. You have a billing desk. You all kids come. You have to make products. You have to like do
So
make a small manufacturing
studios
unit.
become like a nice. It's like a professional setup. We have staff.
Yeah,
We have people in the team who do social media. We have
yeah.
so we have people for trained teachers the way we'd like them to talk to children.
Yeah. How big? I didn't know your setup is so big. I thought it's like 5 people.
Yeah.
5 people.
Yeah.
Yeah. 5 people. It's nice. And you and when parents come to you, are they looking at, for example, something different from school, or they know exactly what you're going to offer?
No, I think they just respect the fact that I'm an artist and I look at it from artist point of view. So I think all the parents have trusted this process very blindly. They just don't expect anything, but they know that the child loves to come, and I think that's the success of it.
I want to ask you about your own private practice, because I'm interviewing a few people for these episodes. I ask people, what's the relationship with money, for a very specific reason, because I feel like the younger people who meet me because of Artist Plus ask me to have conversations with bankers. Like there's this conversation. Everybody's become aware of finances and stuff like that. So as an artist, I want to ask you 2-3 questions wrapped in one. These long questions. One is, what is your relationship with money? Secondly, as an artist, do you even think, because you come from a family that is pretty well off? So, and when it with like, I know other printmakers, and we know other people who kind of don't have the financial setup to do half the things you couldn't do. Everyone wishes they had a foundation and they set up stuff like yours. So then when these people come to you for help, or when they come to say that, can you help, you have for example, you have a printing press.
Yes.
Do you do printing press? Do you make prints for people who don't have printing presses?
Yes.
Or do you run it purely as a business? Or do you help people also?
I started the studio with an intention to for it to be a collaborative space to explore printmaking.
Yeah.
Slowly, I have expanded it, and we have all facilities for various kind of prints at the studio. So it's a fully functional print studio we have a lot of students who come over or who want to do a project in print. They want to come and use the studio space.
Nice.
We love that energy around, because we get to learn so much from fellow printmakers also.
Yeah. That is bang on. Can I ask you questions about your private practice?
Yes.
How many modifications have happened in your work? Like, you earlier used to do these colorful ones. Now you've gone so black and white and hyper minimal, and you work with paper so much.
Yeah.
You're trying different stuff like the accordion paperworks and stuff like that. So I'm going to ask you, your private practices, go for it. Just say, can you explain your journey from after college or before college?
So I did my graduation in painting, but I chose printmaking because I somehow realized by the end that I love paper more than I love like canvas or like a medium where I could just do paint.
Yeah.
Eventually I've come to realize that I can mix print and painting together, but on paper. With years down the line. I love also 3D. Like I love objects, like I love ceramic. I took that as another subject during graduation plus practice. Now eventually I've tried to tie up all of it together. Also, studying in Colombia, doing the post diploma in printmaking in Colombia has really opened wider, like the possibility of doing printmaking in a wider range of using technology in print, using technology in art, which I think is important for today's generation because we are ruled with technology around the world.
Yeah.
And as a printmaker, I don't consider myself as a printmaker because I don't make editions of my works. They're usually single edition works.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I don't
This
have...
work doesn't have editions.
No, it's a single edition work. But I love using print techniques because I feel they allow me to say what I want to say in that. Yeah, it is so subtle. It has layers because if you've created on the paper, then you've created it on the plate, then you've created back on the paper. And I love that transfer that happens with so many layers. And the results which maybe I could not just draw them directly on the paper. So I think that's why I love printmaking. And I've explored many papers. I've made my own paper, but I use Japanese rice paper, I use Indian paper, I use couple of digital techniques to create the work. So there's a mix of, I make my own 3D objects, I use them in my work. So now practice has become like, it's open. And I just feel it's the beginning to explore this another world, which I've been meaning to, kind of experiment and explore.
And your journey was the same from, not obviously it's changed. I'm asking you the maybe the major shifting points in your practice. From painting, you used to paint before, then you did woodcuts. You quit woodcuts.
Yeah, I don't practice woodcut so much. I love etching because my lines have become more, like you said, more minimal and more thinner and more.
Yeah. I have 4 of your works.
Yeah.
Insanely minimal works, the 0 grams. What was that like? There's a body of work that I got from her, which is on weightlessness. So she's done these embossed works on. Yeah. Maybe if I have the image, then I'll share it. But can you just explain why you're choosing to be minimal? As a basic, I can't explain it, but that's sometimes how I feel. Like I felt selfless. Like I felt. People have to see the image to understand what I'm saying. But why is your work so minimal, so lofty, so light? And on the other side, whenever you work, the blacks and your colors, they're very like convoluted and very mushy and all. So there's a large negative space of whiteness, and within that there's like one, I don't know, it just looks like.
Somewhere I'm trying to capture that essence of what a memory, that transient memory means to you. So it has to have that.
Actually, yeah.
Layer, that space that it needs, but that one little thing that catches your eye, that's what was the memory about. So
well said.
I think it's all.
Go on, articulate that. That's a good point.
In between.
Is it only that, or is it something to do with? Your 3.
So the practice is a lot about this intangible space that you're exploring. This. I'm trying to capture this experience of this conversation in the artwork. So it's somewhere very, very ambiguous. I don't know, something that you can't write in words. Something that you just have to experience. And how would you translate an experience on paper?
Sure.
Some like that.
I was speaking to another artist, and she said that there's a lot of riffraff in the art world, and that I know that you can't write to save your life. You can't write when you can paint better than you can write, and so there are some requirements sometimes when an artist has to write. Like how I write curatorial notes or how I write for Artistry
Plus. You have
Plus.
to write,
No, I have to write. You don't have to write.
But I love to write also.
But
I write about my
work.
One
can't write.
Of course.
The way use the. When you read efflux emails and all, it's like written like in like dense philosophical and curatorial notes. Do you feel like you just lack the words? Or do you feel like you want to, because your works can be a lot can be written about your works because of being so ambiguous.
Yeah.
But you don't write that. You wait for a writer to write that.
I write a lot about my works, but maybe that's the same point of view. Like the point of view that I'm making the work, like the same perspective. Maybe if you look at it, it's very open-ended. Like I feel like my experience is very similar to, like, somebody else can have that experience. Maybe you just didn't No,
No, yeah,
when you were seeing through. Like
Yeah.
you could walk through windows every day or doors, and
yeah,
you never realized that that frame was always there when you were
yeah.
walking.
And that's a beautiful moment also
Yeah.
that can be captured.
And it just happens to you multiple times mundanely every day, but we never notice these off things that actually collectively make up your experiences and your memories.
Yeah,
They could be bad, good.
yeah.
It's just that what sticks back to you.
You have, is there anything you're working towards that you feel that you feel is changed after, or is affected because you're married and because you have kids, that you were working because of something? Any regrets that you can't do something now, or is like everything bang?
No, I used to feel sometimes that I can't go travel, like go for like residencies and like explore, because there's so much practice that happens across the world. And like I would want to go and do a nice paper workshop or a print workshop in Japan, and like there's so much to explore.
Now you're just teasing the hell out of everybody.
No, but
The things you say, Japan and like this is
like,
all.
no, it's real.
I know it's real, but it's like so enviable, man.
but but now I feel like there's no regret, because these are the few years that I'm also getting to understand myself when I'm being with my children
Yeah.
in so many ways. So I think that has very positively affected my art practice.
So you've never done, you've do commission projects,
Yeah.
and what if the commission is conflicting with your practice? I know you do commission projects. That's why I'm asking you. You
Yes.
do commission projects
Yeah,
to
but
sustain your life, and then you have your own personal, very sensitive practice.
no, but fortunately, Webber, it's always people have liked the style of work, so they just wanted to do on their size, particular,
Yeah,
like they're going with their space, the size that it requires,
yeah.
and maybe the colors around. But has there never been like a conflict with ideology in making the artwork? I wouldn't take it up if it was something, it was not looking like a Snehal Goyal artwork.
So you have the confidence that you will always deliver a Snehal Goyal work,
Yes.
even if it is like if what do you do, for example, as a creative person, if the commission is an interesting commission where the money is good and the client wants something else?
Sorry.
Sorry,
Yes.
that's amazing.
I see, like you said, I
That's a
don't
privilege.
make,
You can say that because
yeah, I don't make art for only money. Fortunately, it doesn't sustain my life, so I have the choice to do the projects I want to do.
yeah,
It should add value to me also, if it's adding value to the person who's giving me the commission.
yeah,
And I think I'm at that stage of my career where I can say, sorry, I want to create this. If you like it,
take it
take it.
at this price.
Yeah.
And do you negotiate prices? You're bad with money. You're like Salman
Yeah.
Khan. You're like, मुझे वो सब नहीं पता.
No.
भाई आएगा काम करके निकल
No,
जाएगा.
I think it should just give value for what you've put into, like your
Yeah.
heart and
Yeah.
your effort.
Yeah,
It's just that.
sure. Oh, this is like classic. So you're like very comfortably placed in your life.
Yeah. It's a sweet spot.
Yeah, it's a sweet spot. You can see that. I know you also.
But that gives me a lot of freedom to do what I want to do, Weber. Like very few people get to choose or to explore the way they want to, because
Yeah.
they don't have to think about the post and the pre when you're creating.
like me. No, really. Like I like when you say things like, I wish I went to Japan for a residency, or I went to Tyler Institute to print something in Singapore, or
Yeah.
or Wrights Academy or Columbia University. I'm like, dude, I have to like file my GST tomorrow.
Dude,
It's like,
the dream is to show work at Tate and like
I know
places
you
like
can
this.
dream of doing epic stuff once your roti kapda makan sadak pani bijli is
Of course.
taken care
It's
of.
a tough profession to be in. It's tough. It's tough
It's
to
damn tough.
sustain. It's
Yeah.
very tough.
For you also it's tough.
It's tough to create your name, to be able to say, I don't want to do something and I want to do something. It's tough to be at that place where you can choose.
Great topic. Your father has an art foundation.
Had an art foundation.
Had an art foundation. Very respected, wealthy
Yes.
family. Isn't this nepotism?
No, I've struggled my own way to be where I have been.
Yeah, actually.
I got my
no, I'm
admissions on my own credit.
sure.
And I
But
don't.
your connections with your family and your connections with your
I don't think my
no.
connections with my family have ever been my buyers. They'd always taken it for free, probably for granted. I don't think
Sure.
I've ever
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
made that. But I wish I can convert them into buyers. That's a bigger dream.
You were in a okay, because the truth setting now was really high. I'm going to ask you. You were in a joint family,
Yes.
and you were not the. I mean, you are not. You're not a housewife kind of a person. I know you since a long time. You
Yeah.
are a very very open-minded, liberal, outgoing person. Even though you are an introvert, but to be in a Marwadi house with where the bahu setting is there, and there is a sasuma, there is a bahu, and there's a business family where I'm assuming now that all your other nanan, the other people are housewives, and
No.
then no, everyone's working.
Yeah.
Oh, lovely. So
So
then you
come
are,
from a family that's been very open.
yeah.
They have really supported the practice.
You always like. I mean, I remember you were like, after marriage, you kind of were like, you. There was a change in you. You were extremely happy. Everything was like amazing.
Yeah. I was fortunate to be in a family that understood. Maybe they don't understand art as a career.
I think
Like they
people
did
don't know.
not
People
probably.
don't know she's rich.
Stop saying that. No, they don't. Maybe they didn't know somebody from this field who could, as a art as a profession.
Yeah.
But they've really supported the practice and
Yeah.
helped me be what I am today.
Yeah.
So they have given us the complete freedom to choose to
Yup.
to do what we are doing. So
Sure. And then, what is your relationship with your, like, for the last show we did at VHC, your family, your mother-in-law comes to see your artwork. She comes to your studio. Does she have any
Yes.
input? She's like, it's like the classical thing is like, खाना ऐसा बनाते हैं. So you're like, painting भी ऐसा कर.
No. They love to see what I make. They love to see what I
Yeah.
create, where it is displayed, how
Yeah.
does it look in a certain space.
Yeah.
And they, now that they understand me as a person, they kind of have been great supporters. Like I love to send them the first picture.
The first,
Our family office is with my studio. I love to show
yeah,
my
yeah.
father-in-law also what I have made.
Yeah.
This is going to get dispatched. Please come and see how it looks like.
Not bad.
So
It's like a manufacturing unit.
yeah,
It's
they
like
love to see what I have, like the output also. Like
Yeah, and and then is it are you used for other creative stuff in your house?
Yes.
Like ye to creative hai to
yeah. I
creative
love
stuff.
to do that.
Yeah.
I told you,
Oh, you love
creativity
to
is
do
a
that.
lifestyle. No, it comes in it just comes in every bit of it. Like
That's nice. Explain this lifestyle part, because it's like I mean, you spoke of it earlier, but nobody's ever said lifestyle. They all said it's a way of life, or I mean, which is a
no, I
lifestyle.
think for me it's like a lifestyle. I'd love to even like keep like the cushion covers in its own order and like have a way of like living creatively. Everything.
You have an Insta life,
No,
or it's like a magazine. Like in your head, you
it's
design
just
everything.
aesthetically right.
You design everything.
Yeah, I like to design everything. I love to design the menu.
There's-
I love to design spaces. I love to design how kids will study or learn about something in a way.
You sure this is not going down a OCD path?
I am little OCD.
No, but like ऐसा ही होना चाहिए.
नहीं, ऐसा ही
I
नहीं.
asked you in the start how.
Because artist has no right and wrong. ऐसा ही नहीं होना चाहिए. But it just needs to look a way
That's
I
amazing,
feel like.
that you fit this concept in your head that artist में कोई right or wrong नहीं होता.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I have a problem. I feel like I have a bias sometimes in some works where I feel like I was speaking to a ceramic artist in this podcast. I can't see like the art sometimes in certain kinds of ceramic. I feel like there's a lot of, and it's my bias. It's like it's an open bias which I'm open to. I want to fix it if it's a problem for other people. I live my life normally, but I wanted to just update myself, and I feel like through what you do at Raised in Art at the young age with the kids, if I was in your thing, I would have a more open mind from a childhood, because as a child I've been schooled in a certain way. So I feel like that's a good what you're doing is really good in Raised in Art and stuff, and even in your private practice. Cool. I'm
Cool.
cutting this conversation now because it's time to pick up your kids from school and she's really busy. She has a life which revolves around her family and her studio time. So Snehal, it's been really great.
Thank you.
It's been really great talking to you. Can you please look into that camera and say a few good things about Artistry Plus, me, and then say end it with like, comment, and subscribe to Artistry Plus.
You just also.
And you have to say nice things. Say nice things.
Weber, it was a pleasure to talk to you today. Artistry Plus, I'm proud to be a part of this podcast,
Thank you.
which is made so brilliantly. Every time you come up with these amazing interviews of really great practicing artists,
Like you.
and if you all have loved to listen to us, please like, comment, and subscribe to Artistry Plus.
Thank you.